Hey everybody, this is Roger Thunder with the Ancient Soul Surfing Association. And when you say that name, it should actually be Ancient Soul Surfing Association. I am the founder, along with my co-founder Matt Ferris. We got the idea because of our relationship with the indigenous peoples of North America, incidentally, which I have written about in my award-winning book, Listen to the Wind, Speak from the Heart. Having indigenous blood, I did a deep study on this whole topic and the rituals and the sacred acts involved with the indigenous people. And so the idea came to me about how important it was to dive into the ancient roots, the ancient civilization of surfing, which dates back some 2,000 to 3,000 BC, actually, in the Polynesian, Samoan, Tonga island chains, maybe even somewhere else before that. And so I started thinking about who the first ancient soul was that got on a board or fashioned a board and went out and rode the waves. And the sacred act of that whole situation. This association is kind of like a yoga of surfing. I was initiated into Kriya Yoga in 1986. With the sole intention of raising my consciousness and being in tune with the spirit that moves in all things, the oceans, the planet, the cosmos. And so the idea came to me with some 35 to 40 million surfers worldwide. The idea came to me that I would like to incorporate this thought, this same sacred act, into the act of surfing. What we do when we paddle out, catch a wave, and ride it. And looking at that with a whole different perspective now, I do realize that a lot of people do enjoy. The reason they're out there is to enjoy their oneness, excuse me, with the planet and the ocean, and to be able to just enjoy nature. This is a sacred act. This should be viewed as a sacred act, just like the medicine man and the shamans of the indigenous people of North America used their chanupa pipe or their peace pipe to connect with Grandfather Sky and Grandmother Earth in the spirit of the four directions. Much could be the same if you looked at your surfboard in the same manner as a connection to the cosmos, the planet, and the rhythms of Mother Nature, the rhythms of the planet, the rhythms of the earth. And this, done in this way, covers a lot of areas, and one of the areas that it covers is just basically having reverence for the planet and being in tune with the planetary energy and being in tune with this great fluid mass we call the ocean or oceana. It's a very healing thing, and it's a very spiritual thing, and if approached with the right state of mind and the right intention, can be very rewarding on all kinds of levels. I can't stress this enough. So the association's endeavor is to use this type of yoga or meditative or consciousness raising approach or attitude towards your surfing endeavors, and every time that you go into the ocean is an act of, is a sacred act. The surfboard is almost like an altar, and again a vehicle for connecting with this energy, this boundless amount of energy that comes rolling in to the shores as waves. Now, this organization is also set up to be a community, or let's say a tribe, worldwide. With 35 to 40 million surfers worldwide, this could be a great movement for bringing awareness to the planetary situation in general, as far as how are we taking care as stewards, mankind, how are we taking care of this planet. And I plan on hooking this association up with all kinds of surf rider foundations, surf shops, and just getting the word out in general so that we can establish a database and so that we can end newsletter and other ways to communicate events and gatherings and seminars and instructional videos and instructional seminars. In meditation and yoga, surfing is a form of yoga. Yoga means union, and union with a higher consciousness, or let's say a planetary consciousness, or a planetary tantra, or a planetary tantra yoga. Unification, and this unification brings about massive amounts of energy within your being. Let's not forget that our bodies are made up of 90% water. The Lakota people say, Mini Wachoni, water is life. So we will adapt that phrase into this spiritual, ancient soul surfing association movement. This is a real serious movement on one hand because it is sacred, and then on the other hand it is also a fun thing, an exhilarating thing. So that's basically kind of my concept. Now what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to follow up with the story that I wrote called The Ancient Soul Surfer, which I narrated, so I'll follow up with that. And then I'm also going to post some video of a recent, well, not that recent, but within the last couple of years, a large swell that hit Jolla Cove with some just great footage, which I want to give a shout out to SoCal Surf Shop for that one. And just want you to enjoy the beautiful waves that were coming in that day, and the fun that people were having, and the exhilarating feeling of it. So again, I will come back at the end of that as a final conclusion to this video and give you the information as to how you can connect with us. And we do have a GoFundMe page, which is still being worked on, but it's pretty much done, and I will give you the link to that, as well as my Substack page. So let's get on with the rest of this video, and I will return when it is over. The ancient soul surfer. In a timeless sea of ripples from eternity, a wave is formed from the wind and turbulent thunderstorms of the west, called Varuna. The great thunderbirds flap their wings, and the lightning bolts of Vajra create a turbulence upon the surface of the great Oceanus. A rhythmic flow of energy is born upon the waters and flows outward in concentric waves of energy. This is the pulse of the planet, called by some the spirit that moves in all things. As these waves of energy flow in the goddess ocean called Moana, they build in momentum and speed like spirits bound for a distant shore. The indigenous ancient mariners, fishermen, and royalty of the Pacific island chains had a deep reverence for the gods and goddesses of this deep blue-green fluid mass. They lived their lives always in tune with the natural flow of nature. They gave homage, honor, and paid respect to the supernatural order. They planned their life journey in accordance with the wind, tides, and rain. They grew their crops, fished, and made voyages upon the great oceanic waters. As they navigated upon these Pacific waters, they used the stars to guide them on their journeys of exploration. They were one with the cosmic order of things and knew that they themselves were an integral part of all that existed. But who was this first intrepid soul who stood upon a white sandy beach and watched with awe at the great rhythmic energy called waves as they moved towards the shore? He must have watched them with reverence as they flowed over the green reef, rose in monumental heights, crested, and then exploded in a volcanic mountain of fury, only to dissipate upon the shore. Who was this sentient warrior being that decided to build a different kind of boat, made of the trees born from Mother Earth? What vision moved him to ride it so as to blend with the energy of the waves, to experience an exhilarating ride, and to have union with this powerful goddess of the sea? This was the ancient soul surfer who lives on in the hearts, minds, and souls of those who would follow his quest to be in oneness with the eternal planetary consciousness, to ride the energetic waves of Mother Earth herself in a healing act of surrender. So that was some great scenery, some great clips there. I hope you enjoyed that. Just for non-surfers that may not even know what this is about, this organization is not just for surfers. It's for anybody that wants to be in that concept, that state of mind, that consciousness, and wants to support the organization. So the way you can do that is I got links down in the show notes of this video. And if this video is standalone, if you're not seeing this on YouTube, let's say if you're seeing this on the actual GoFundMe page, I will put a link to a way that you can contact us. And since you will be on the GoFundMe page already, it will be a way for you to donate to this cause. And I ask anybody that's out there, I'm going to get this out to several of my friends from the San Diego area and just surfers in general, some maybe some top people, some surf clubs, and some names in the business that I know, that I have met and have been in association with. I will get this out to people, and let's try to get this movement going here and spread the word. This is for the good of all of us, and this is not any kind of money-making scheme or anything like that. This is totally should be viewed as, I don't want to say the word church because I'm not really into religion, but a sacred organization with reverence to the original ancient soul surfer, the one who created us all. So I'll leave it there today and just say thank you, Wopula. And until I see you next time, this is Roger Thunder saying adios.